Recording in progress.
Before something happens. So, everybody, yes. So, love, it's all about love, isn't it? Connects us all.
Connects us, slows us down, gets us centered, gets us grounded. Now we got the tech stuff out of the way. So
Now we got the tech out of the way. Exactly. So, Hollis Citron with I Am Creative Publishing, one of my contributors to this very exciting book that is going to be launching. This is really every book I'll say is like it's like birthing a baby, but this has really been a dream for about 2 years at this point. And it's called I Love You Because I Love Me Because. And we are diving into what this word love means. And love is messy, love is beautiful, love is it's what we all want, even if we say we don't want it. We do because it makes us happier humans. And in this collective experience, I'm so grateful to my authors who said yes and are willing to share their view on what love means. And here we have the amazing Vanessa Donaldson. And can you please, I'm just going to kind of very quickly excuse me, she is such an interesting mix of, there's like, in one of her, in her I Love Me's, it's like military lifestyle, Birkenstocks and boondocking and blissful retirement. Like she has such an amazing, interesting story. So Vanessa, can you just please tell us a little bit about who you are before we dive in?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Hollis, and for the powers of LinkedIn and the ways people connect. We were all meant to connect this way. I was offline actually camping through Canada and Alaska when I first, got a pop-up with what your love book was going on. So I wasn't even on internet. I was completely decompressed in nature with my husband, retired Marine, and my 84-year-old mom. So it's just serendipity that I saw your message and it just was like a light shining down. I said, I have to talk to this woman and find out more about this love book. And part of going into nature too is to get away from the hectic world and the social media is out of control, the media, the negativity. So I get a lot of privilege and space to be grounded and centered a lot in nature and just to slow down and to just be and not to be doing. And it allows me, when I take those times and step back, it allows me to focus on things that are really important, helps me get more aligned with what I want to be focusing on next in my life, my living purpose on this earth. And that word love just connected with me. And I said, I have to know more about this book. So I wanted to be a part of it because I feel like if we keep harping on the negativity, it just divides us more. And I'm all about relationship, unity, compassion, togetherness. So I thought, what better way to kind of do that opposite energy force of negativity, but to be in a positive space, sharing positive messages. And like you said, the basics, we complicate things so much in life, but really all we want is love. And your book gave that conduit, gave that platform for all that. And it's just been growing into morphing into something else, like a caterpillar. I was looking at that analogy earlier in like a morning devotion, the whole caterpillar metamorphosing into a butterfly. And man, we are like taking off. The book is live now, so we are spreading our wings and flying, and we just want to share our messages. We all have a story, and each one of those stories in the book, separate authors, can still resonate with somebody. Somebody might read my story and not maybe get it as much. Someone might read someone else's, and it will inspire them. It will give them hope. It will pour love on them. Love threads, we call, and your hashtag for love beyond the surface. We want to be loving beyond the surface, none of this facade stuff like you see on TV or in a magazine. We're real people with real stories and real messes. And yeah, so I'm so grateful that the stars aligned. I could be a part of this. And so from babies to Birkenstocks came before babies. So I don't know if you want me to expound on some of my titles, but
Yeah, please.
okay. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So that was the whole I love me part. There was the whole I love you, I love me. And I guess you can turn the book either way and start with whichever side, you want to read about more. There's
Two
no
books in one, everybody.
two books in one. So flip it to one side to start one way or flip it to the other. So since you brought up I love me, um, I will focus on that first. So the Birkenstocks is kind of an analogy. Maybe if you were a Peace Corps volunteer, you'll pick up on that straight away. But literally in the 90s, I was in the Peace Corps in Africa and met my husband. So my story is all about a love story and meeting my Marine in the middle of nowhere, Africa. And I've mentioned it to people in passing for years, and people would always say, "Where's your book? Where's your? This is like Lawrence of Arabia. Where's your book about this?" And I put it off. Nobody wants to read about this stuff, whatever. And no, that people do want to read and people want to know, and I want to give hope to people. And it's kind of a love story of when you're not even looking for love. So many people, and I've been in those venues too, where they're trying to force it and plan it all, and they have their perfect person in their mind that they're going to attract. And things don't happen the way they planned it. Things are off track. They're actually maybe missing their soulmate because they've boxed themselves in so much. So this is kind of a story too of just being open to maybe not your ideal original idea when you were a kid of who you're going to grow up with and be with the rest of your life, and be open, because I sure wasn't looking for love. I was building wells and helping women with income generating activities that were all like these gung-ho African women that were running in the markets, running their families, getting the kids off to school, just like anybody else anywhere in the world. And so yeah, so I just want to bring that hope that sometimes when you're not looking, it can just like fall in your lap. And that's kind of what happened to me. But yeah, so the Birkenstocks signifies that whole era of Peace Corps. I mean, I thought I could have added another word, but you gave us limits on word choices, so I had to really get specific. I'm thinking I should have added braided hair with that too, because I ran around with Birkenstocks and braided hair. It might be in my photo too, I don't know. So that's how it started. And yeah, the braided hair, and then basically falling in love, Lawrence of Arabia, and getting connected with my husband. At the time, it was boyfriend, so shotgun wedding. So that's why there's the Birkenstocks and the babies. And then there's the whole military life that we've gone through, and the back end battlefield. Like it's a battlefield when you're on the front lines. And I thought, you know what? Us family, spouses, mothers, parents that have kids that they send off to war to support the country, it's a back end battlefield. So you're dealing with things on the back end. And but that's not the end of it. That was just part of it. And now the goal is really blissful retirement. You want to be thriving and living your second life once you get out of your military life or whatever you're transitioning into your next season. So you can look back and say, like, pinch me, like pinch yourself, like, oh my gosh, is this my life? I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed, and just count on those blessings. And yeah, since I am a life coach for military spouses, that's what I do. Everything leads with positivity, positive energy, blessings, gratefulness. It all comes from that. And your book just allowed us to express all that. So there's the whole I love me. I want people to thrive in retirement.
So I want to dive in a little bit more with the I love me.
More?
Because
I'm like,
I
I've
love
told
you.
everything.
Because
Okay.
I feel like there were things that you said, which I think are great, like about your husband and things you didn't expect and what you were doing. But I want to dig a little bit deeper here. And it's the I love. There was, and honestly, in all honesty, there was resistance of people coming into the space initially because they were like, I love this, but I know it was because of the I love me. People do not have as much of an issue with saying I love you, person, place, or thing. But when it comes to the I love me, we're so critical on ourselves. So I want you to give me or give us even just what is it something that you've learned about you that you love or you like about you? What have you grown into that you really like about yourself?
Yeah, and we're all at a different journey in that. So a few years ago, that side of the book might have been harder for me to write about, but I've been working on myself. We're all working on ourselves on this human earth. So for me, it was just looking back. This book was like a confirmation and a summary of kind of this season of my life being active duty military and prior, going to college and then getting on a plane to fly to a different continent and just join the Peace Corps. People were totally like, are you crazy? Why are you doing that? Why would you do that? And it was like two blessings in one. I got to serve overseas, meet incredible people, do incredible grants and projects, and also meet the love of my life. Like it was, and had I not taken that step, that would have never happened. So I love me. I just want to express that I'm so grateful that and proud that I've stepped into the unknown fearlessly.
Yes.
And it's my faith. A lot of it goes back to my faith, just being Christian. Like I don't want to live through life saying, what if this and what if that? Gosh, I just heard a story. It was like a devotion or talk or something. And it was just like, I think it was it might have been a country song, something about like, what if your whole life can be a what if, and then nothing happened, you know. So I didn't want to live a life of what if, and I'm just loving me because I'm jumping in. It's messy. I fall on my head. I get up again, and we're all gonna fall. But it's like, how quickly can you
Yes.
get up? How quickly can you get up and be like, okay,
Mm.
I learned this nugget. Okay, I'm not gonna do that again. Shift here. So we're all gonna fall, but just yeah, I'm almost speechless because it's when you love yourself, that exudes to other people around you, and as coaching clients that have a lot of issues, um, like military spouses, sometimes issues with self-worth and lack of confidence, or they've been put in this military lifestyle, very box regimented, and don't talk to the higher ups and stay in your box and don't embarrass your husband and stay in the back. And so, I mean, I like to joke now, one of my taglines is, I help military spouses bloom wherever they're planted. And it's wherever they're planted because it's still transition, you're still moving around, so just bloom wherever you are. But yeah, to be able to love yourself unconditionally and accept your failures and say, well, I don't even say failures now. I think all that coaching mindset for me, it's just feedback. That was the word. It's not failure, it's feedback. So how you look at yourself, it just will um put out that energy and that vibe to people around you. Like even on Zoom, you and I think feel like we have a connection every time I talk to you. And it'll do that for your love life, for your relationships, for your marriage, because you're showing up all in, messy. You're not holding back.
Showing up all in messy.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody embrace the mess. Perfectionists, recovering perfectionists, like everything, embrace the mess because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like you said, which I really appreciate, you said, how quickly can you get up?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you practice it and you train it or get a coach to help you, when you have that mindset, like, okay, felt getting up again, you're not living too much in the past. You're not having all that regret all the time. You're learning from things and you're moving forward. It's always like moving forward. It's always a transformation and it keeps going. Like none of us will ever stop till we're off this earth. And then there's a whole other soul level. So but life is not, what is it? A dress rehearsal, they say, right? So people that are on the fence with, whatever creativity they have in their mind of what they want to create for themselves. I think one of the coaches is, she's so close to the van life. And that's another thing I do with my travels, van life consulting. I think we're having a call in a few weeks and she's like ready to, I have some ideas for her and she's open, and we might be having her in a van too and doing her nomadic thing. So you never know if you're holding back, the blessings on the other side. So jump in.
Jump, just jump, just do it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so time is already going by so quickly. So
Ah,
give us a little hint on, so the I love you aspect, everybody, is meaning person, place, or thing. So I wanted to really open it up so we understand that it doesn't always have to be you can feel love for a color, you can feel love for a place, you can feel love for a person, you can feel love for an animal, you can feel love for, it was just kind of open kind of space to see where people would take it. So give us a little glimpse into what your I love you was for.
yeah, I love you. It was just a love story, just expressing years of me sharing with people in my path, how I connected with my husband, and we've been married like 27 years now. The ups and the downs, the shotgun weddings, the deployment, being left home as a single mom, raising two kids here and there. Uh, so it was just, yeah, the messiness of love, but how our faith held us together. And in times where, military marriages, probably 50, 60% end in divorce. And that's, yeah, it's just like, Christian marriages, military, you name it, it seems like it's 50 to 60%. So I didn't want to be that statistic, and it takes hard work and it takes a lot of stepping back and selflessness, not selfishness, but being selfless and looking everything with, how can you please or give to the other person before yourself. And then scripture kind of guides us, so this is not rocket science for relationship building. It's all written for me. We follow the Bible. So all the answers are there if I just want to open scripture and read about it, and that will help guide me so that I can come alongside and be his helper and to support the family in various ways and just set an example for our kids so they can grow up with that confidence and with some kind of faith too, something to hang on to, because in those stressful, needy times when you feel all dark and alone and no one's there in your corner, you got to have that faith. You got to have something to hang on to. So the I love you goes, deeper into just not just my husband and my love story, but having that faith too in how you set up your life so that you can rely on something when you feel like the rug is being pulled out from under you or something. There's something bigger out there to help you and support you. So yeah, and it was just fun just to release. I think I even had some guilt for years, like, oh my gosh, shotgun wedding. Like I never talked about it. I've been in a church environment, Christian, the perfectionist. And it's like, I just kind of skip over that. And I'm like, over time, I think, my daughter must have figured out the age she was born. We were married like in a December 96 and she came along in January of 97. And I'm like, oh, I got to have this talk with her. But I think she figured out a while ago. But I have had talks with her too and said this, you want to set the example. And I wanted her to go through the proposal and the ring and all that, which she's doing all now. Like she has so taking her time. She's 8 years with her guy the other way. And we're like, are you getting married? So it's a fiance now. So you never know how your story, and your life, your kids are modeling, you're modeling for your kids, they're watching you. So she went the other step and is moving extremely slowly because mom is just like, jump in, like I said to you guys. So find your flow wherever that is, but just releasing that. And she always said, mom, yours and dad's story it's a love story. You guys met like under the African Sahel stars, in this remote place with just a desert, pretty much the Sahel desert, which if you just describe desert, it's dry and it's arid and nothing grows, but like, boy, things were blooming and flourishing and fruitful. And so, yeah, there's a lot of release of that, but and that's what happens when I guess you write books too. You never know where it's going to lead you as the author. And I'm like, oh, dang, I got to be real and honest. So I got to put that part in there. I can't skip over this. And this is part of my story. And I'm so glad I did because just releasing that, I have a whole different energy now when I talk about, that season of my life. And it's because of the book. It's because of spending time with the words and processing and saying, let it go, let it all out. So you created the space for that. And at first I was on the fence of even joining because we've had conversations. I don't see myself as a creative person. And you've explained that. I talked about my daughter when she was here for Christmas visiting us. We're traveling around the Keys now in Florida. And she was like, yeah, your creativity has turned more into, the writing and the silence and the quiet, where before I was always in the hustle and bustle, raising kids and just moving and fast, fast, fast. And she's like, she can see that now. She's like, yeah, you're picking up writing things. I'm writing for a military spouse magazine called Stars and Stripes. I'm looking at doing writing for a Bible app. And it's like, wow, all this writing creativity is coming out, but it got birthed through Hollis's book and the birthing, like you're getting confident, the words are just flowing now. It's just natural. So yeah. So the I love you, that's a lot more than just I love you with my husband, but I could just go on and on about him.
But that's a combination, and that's what this is, everybody. And you brought up lots of points, but that point of when you push yourself beyond your fear. So you said you were on the fence, you weren't even sure if you were going to do it, you didn't see yourself as a writer, you didn't see yourself, and the beauty of this book, everybody, is that it's writing, photography, and or video. So there's QR codes so you can actually see and hear the authors, which I find pretty beautiful for the people that chose to go that way. But you faced your fear because you were like, again, you use the word boxes a lot and you use the word transition a lot. And what I like about that is we put ourselves in boxes because we get labeled as being good at things. You're good at that. You're good at that. So stay in your lane, stay in your box. And it's kind of an expectation. It becomes like a societal, on the whole, not everybody is like this, but they're often like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be doing that. Did you go to school for that? You never were good at that before. Why are you doing it now? So we get these things planted in our brains, all of these thoughts. So everything that you just said, which I really appreciate you saying, and everybody, this is why you have to meet Vanessa, and this is why you're going to read her pages in her book, is saying that, no, I'm not limited to that. I did say yes. And it's a domino effect. When you say yes or no to things, and I'm going to go to the yes side, when you say yes to this, then it's this, oh, well, this kind of unraveled and this happened and this happened. I didn't know that was going to happen. There's so many things where I was like, I didn't know I was going to teach. Art teacher for 30 plus years, had no idea. I did go to art school. I did artisan residencies. I kind of fell into it. My mother was a teacher and I was around it, but I didn't know I was going to do that. And starting a business, and then, which was always there, always there. And then having a publishing house, didn't know that was going to happen, but I've always loved being a part and hearing people's stories and making them come to life and nurturing and growing like the seeds. You were saying, planting the seeds and letting them bloom. It's just, so it's this idea, everybody, of you don't need to know. You don't need to know the how. Right, so boxes.
Just say yes, and then things just fall into place, and it'd be messy, and we might be reaching out to you, and I don't know about this, and I'm not good at Canva, but no, don't limit yourself. So, and just the fact that you had the book on this multi-dimensional level, I was all in then, because I'm like, okay, I can write. I had a really good English teacher in high school. So Mr. Harris, wherever he is in this world, I don't know, best teacher ever. I almost failed AP English my senior year because we had a summer reading project. With AP classes, you take a summer class or summer reading. They give you projects in the summer. So you're coming back like hitting the ground running, having already to like do an essay or something. And I'll never forget the red ink on that page. I mean, my entire report was just, he had this red ink. I'm like, dang, that was harsh. He didn't use purple or blue or something. That red, everything was circled and, wrong, adjective, wrong, and he crossed half my essay out and then took me outside the classroom and said, do you really want to be in this class? Like, I expect more of you. This summer project thing, whatever you put here together, I don't think you did your best. You flaked through your summer reading and you didn't dive in deep to what the essay was supposed to be about and all the points you're supposed to bring out. I mean, he took me outside that classroom. I was crying and sobbing, and he's just like, it's your choice. If you don't want to do AP English, like I can kick you out right now. You can go back to regular, but if you want to be in my class, you're going to be working. And I took that as a challenge. I took him up on it, and by the end, I was so proud of myself. A year later, like the whole school year, I was getting A's with a different color ink. I think it was green. The green was for the A's and the B's. And so, yeah, that writing. So I knew the writing was in me, but the fact that you added photography with it, pictures and audio, I was like, oh my gosh, all my senses, because doing the van life and living in nature, it's about embodying all those senses, not just linear, but, your sight, your sound, your smell, your taste, everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, my world right now, my season is photography. It's part of what I do everywhere I go. I'm taking pictures of nature, pictures in nature and of nature. This is our van, and this is like in Yuma, in somewhere in Arizona, I think, when we first started, when the pandemic hit, and we took off for 8 months in the van and didn't know where we're going to go or end up. And it's been a beautiful process ever since. And then the voice, with my life coaching, I also do, I've been certified for 6-phase meditation. And it's a 6-step from compassion all the way to blessing. And people would hear me, we would circle in a room with, other coaches, and they would hear me reading the script and say, you should record that, Vanessa. Your voice is pretty good. So I ended up flying through Nashville to like a family reunion in Cabo and said, you know what, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to go do a recording. And, what do people do in Nashville? I mean, they got to have a recording studio. And sure enough, the one person that I knew was a coach that was a musician. I messaged her and she said, my boyfriend knows people. He's a musician. He knows people in Nashville. He lived there. Like the timing and how everything aligned, again, you can't explain it. So I ended up, doing this recording with my husband's complete, like, what is she doing now? I'm like, so we're in Nashville. I know we're heading to the Johnny Cash Museum and stuff, but I got to go do this like recording thing. And he's like, recording? I mean, he was so, oh my gosh, it was so funny about the things. He's like, what's Vanessa doing now? And then the guy was like saging the room up, and he had like this shrine with curtains. I mean, they do theater in there. It was amazing. And he had a whole extra headset for my husband, and well, for whoever was in the room. And he said, would you like to listen to your wife while she speaks in the mic? And at first I thought he was like, well, I said, just drop me off if you don't want to be here. Drop me off. I'll Uber and I'll meet you at the downtown strip, And he was like, drop you off and leave you with some total stranger that you just met through a person of a person.
Very
like,
nice.
Yeah. I'm like, you
That's
can.
a good guy. Right.
So he's like, yeah, I don't think, Marie, like, you don't drop people off. So he ended up, the guy was like, it's just sitting there if you want the headset. He put it on, and I could tell I was speaking the words of compassion, and it's a whole visualization, creative visualization. And he went on that journey with me, and he got up and he was taking some pictures. It's, I think, on one of my brochures for my media kit too. It's like me speaking in the mic, and he was taking photos, and I could just see him sit back, kind of like he saw a whole different side of Vanessa that, he hadn't been exposed to before. And I'm just speaking through this 20-minute, um, just breaking down visualization, helping people with all these different things, getting all their emotions stirred up. And yeah, so he listened to that. But the fact that you did that, and then after the recording, I had coaches even messaging me, coaches that are coaching like bigger people, like people that are, more, everybody's a big person, but like people that maybe know more known in social media or whatever. And they were like, can I buy your compassion, your 6 phase meditation? I want the audio. I want to use it with my clients. I'm like, aren't you a podcast person yourself? Why, you're setting up a whole studio, you told me, and you have a beautiful voice. Just record your own for your clients. I don't have time, I'm busy, and I really like your voice. And so again, that opened up. So the audio, back to your book, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be talking audio. I just want that voice. People can resonate with it if they see it. Maybe some won't, but those that will resonate with it. I don't expect everybody on every page to love all our stuff, right? But whoever we need to connect and resonate with, that voice is there for them to capture and to hopefully inspire and bring hope and more love into their world. And that's what I'm trying to do with the voice. So the fact that you had all three elements, I'm like, who says no to this? You guys like, no, let me pass up. God, I just couldn't say no. Just everything was checking off in the box. Like, okay, just tell me what to do. I think I told you you're going to have to hold my hand, Hollis. And I tried to bounce things back to her. I'm like, what about this? And what about that? And she's like, this is an independent project, Vanessa. She was like, I was like in school again, back at Mr. Harris. She's like, this is an independent project, Vanessa, and you can figure it out. You'll know what to put. I can't help you with more than that, And I'm like, oh gosh, she just tossed that back to me.
But you did it. You did it. And we're coming to the point where we're gonna have to
yes,
wrap it up.
wrap it up.
But I wanted to point out, everybody, because I think you brought up so many things. When your teacher pulled you out into the classroom, there's always it's like the movie Sliding Doors. It could have gone 2 different ways. For you, you took that as a challenge. Some people might be your age and still be holding on to that because they saw it as somebody coming at them, somebody putting them down, and they didn't actually move to the next step because of it. So there's always many ways that people can respond to things. So the way that you took that, you were such an action taker. Here you said you were in another city, you were in another state, and you were just like, oh, I'm going to find a recording. I want a recording studio. You manifested it. You found it. It's kind of like because you're a go-getter. You do things. So ladies and gentlemen, this is inspiration to do this. And I'm looking, when I was looking down, I'm looking here to see who's joining us. And Anita, was so happy that you're here. She said many different things, but I really think Anita is in the book as well. And I think you two definitely need to connect because you're talking the same language. And she said, God bless you, warrior sister. So
thank you, Anita.
So as we are wrapping everything up, can you please tell people maybe a space where it's easy they're going to obviously see it in the book, which is coming out for people to purchase very soon, but let's tell people now, how can they connect?
Yeah, the easiest way is probably just my website, which is resetwithvanessa.com. So reset, RESET, with WITH, Vanessa is VANESSA.com. And on there, I'll have other links to YouTube where you can watch some of my kind of messy podcasts, but I'm showing up and interviewing all kinds of people in spaces of military life and van life. So there's YouTubes you can find there. There's another connection to an Instagram where I post pictures of along our travels, so you can see photos of Canada and Alaska and bear catching salmon and Baja, Mexico beaches, or wherever we end up. Now it's a lot of fishing in the Keys. So inspirational Instagram, and it's messy. I don't post every day because I'm out living my life in nature. So it means getting off grid a lot more than maybe a lot of people that have internet and all that constantly. So, but resetwithvanessa.com, all the other links are in there, contact sheet. So yeah, reach out if you want to have a conversation about any of that stuff. I am here for you.
Beautiful. You are so inspiring. And I'm so grateful that you said yes. And I'm so grateful that you're going to inspire so many. And everybody, this book,
We are going
one,
to inspire.
we,
Actually, we. I mean, you didn't write. Are you? You're not one of the authors, right? I didn't even ask.
I am actually, I did
Oh,
put 2 pages in there.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have you on for that then. Okay. I didn't even. I'm like, she's just the publisher, but nope. Of course, you participated.
I am the publisher and I did participate in this. And yes, this is 1/11, which is Thursday. It is going live. Links will be ready for everybody to purchase and share. And truly, everybody, it's just all about, this is a movement. This is a love movement. And as Vanessa said in the beginning, it's really about taking the positive out. We're creating real, true connection. We're talking about the mess. This is real people talking about love. This isn't the romantic comedy. I love romantic comedy. That is my go-to. So it is not always a romantic comedy, everybody, though. It is a comedy a lot of the time, but just so much goodness. Attached here is going to be the link for Vanessa to connect with her and also to join our love movement. Come over to the Facebook page over there so you can interact and you can share your thoughts on love. I love you and I love me. So we very much appreciate you for being here live. Hashtag live, hashtag replay, put it on in there. We will respond. And tomorrow, Monday, 2 interviews coming up, 4 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern. So come meet the authors because we want to be able to see them and meet them. So again, my name is Hollis Citron with I Am Creative and I Am Creative Publishing. And we tap into your own thing. So bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. God bless.